Our next guests are not Army generals or Homeland Security experts, but there are few people in the world who know more about terrorism than these men. Each of them took part in acts of violence against Jews in the West, but eventually turned their lives around and now advocate for peace. They join us now to give you a rare opportunity to go inside the mind of a terrorist and see what motivates them. Walid Shoebat, Zak Anani, and Ibrahim Abdallah join us now to talk more about the mindset of terrorism, and if there's any way that we can protect ourselves. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Walid, I'd like to start with you. You're born in a family of prominence in Bethlehem. Then you joined the PLO, and you took part in an act of terrorism to try and bomb a bank in Israel. Tell us about that moment, what it was like, and what turned you around, what prevented you from detonating the bomb.
The bomb was detonated. I was not prevented from detonating the bomb. I saw some Arab children walking around Bank Leumi Israel in Bethlehem, and I decided I didn't want to kill Arab children, so I lodged the bomb on the roof and it exploded. But what was going on at this time was the idea of destroying every infrastructure that is Israeli or Jewish in the West Bank, and there was one bank in the West Bank in Bethlehem, so I aimed to destroy it as I was recruited by a notorious bomb maker in Jerusalem.
But let me ask you this question. You're born to a prominent family in Bethlehem. Why join the PLO? I mean, you're part of a privileged family. Why join this organization?
Well, my grandfather was good friends with Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem. He was called the Führer of the Muslim world. This is no small cookie. This is a big, huge guy, and it's important. And it's not like you join a terror organization. People don't understand in the West. They think that it's like the Unabomber, you know, what goes on in the mind of a terrorist. It's the collective incitement of millions of children in school, in the social arena, in clubs, in the mosque, on the Temple Mount, in the streets, on the graffiti.
Are you saying it's part of the culture? You're saying it's part of the upbringing of the children of Palestine, the children of Iraq right now?
Absolutely. When I was 6 years old, I go to school just before the 6 Day War. We sing Arabs are beloved and Jews are dogs. So you can see it's not just in the Palestinian areas. It's in Jordan, it's in Lebanon, it's in Cairo, it's in Syria, it's all over.
It's all over. And which brings me to, I want to ask Ibrahim Abdallah this question. You were born here in the United States, in Dearborn, Michigan, where there is a large Arab population in that part of the country. Is what Walid was saying, what was happening in his homeland, similar to what you were hearing happening in Dearborn? Was there feeling that among that community, a hatred among the Muslim population for what was happening in the West, and a willingness to maybe retaliate if possible?
Well, sure, absolutely. I was born in Dearborn, Michigan, but Dearborn, Michigan, as you stated, is one of the largest Muslim populations in the country, and it's just like having a village in the West Bank in Israel today. It's very, very similar. As a matter of fact, there are storefronts and businesses with Arabic writing on them, and 99.9% of the people who live there are Arab Muslims predominantly.
And is there an effort to try and, say, cultivate young Arabs here in the United States to think about joining Al-Qaeda, for example, forming their own sort of splinter cells of terrorism, like what happened in London?
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, we've seen what the government has done recently in doing interviews with various people, rounding up various organizations, indicting organizations who are funding some of these terrorist organizations all over the country. And usually, if you watch and follow the newscast even, you'll find that they start in Dearborn, Detroit, because that is the home base of many of these organizations. And there's much funding going on. As far as cultivating the mentality of the children, that's absolutely truthful. I mean, it is just like it is in the West Bank, and not just the West Bank, throughout the Middle East and the Muslim world as a whole.
So what you're saying then, Ibrahim, is that right here in our country, as we are speaking to viewers living here in the United States, you're saying that there are cells of terrorism, of young men being cultivated right in our borders.
Right, but what I'm trying to explain to you is that it's not an obscure thing that just started happening. This is part of the culture. You're born and raised with this hatred in your mind and in your heart. I mean, for America and Israel, primarily the Jew and Christian, and that is what the target is. And you're born and bred to believe this.
Zach, let me ask you a question. You were part of a notorious gang in Lebanon during the Civil War. And now you've decided to abandon that, even after attacking your own Arabs and hatred for the West. Why speak out now? Why be brave enough to say that this is wrong, what we have been taught, what we were taught, this was wrong?
Well, it's not just now. It's been doing it for the past 17 years of my life, even a little bit more. Because we, as people who have seen the light and the truth, we seek to reveal the truth and reveal the real mind of wrong terrorism.
So, but let me ask you this question. You're speaking out. Other Muslim leaders are speaking out. They're attacking this radical Islamic thought. But why isn't it catching on? Why are still more and more young men deciding that don't believe what you say?
Well, my friend, you have to understand, first of all, what you see here in the West really is the beautified Islam, which is not really the Orthodox Islam. And people who are raised, like in my youth, raised on Orthodox Islam, they don't have a clue, or they don't have a chance of changing their life if it's not changed within.
All right. I want to go back now to Walid. Let me ask you about now the September 11th attacks. Many people in this country very jittery, very nervous about the possibility of it happening again. What do you tell the world? What do you tell our elected officials? Are we still at risk? And if it happens, will it happen here in the United States from people that are born in the United States, grown here, went to school here?
I mean, just look at what happened in London. They're homegrown terrorists as well. There's al-Muhajirun in London. As a matter of fact, if I just can give you an example, we started in 1981. We would rent hotels, and we would be training underground as well, in basements. Our mentor was named Jamal Saeed. It is said that Jamal Saeed, he has a mosque in Chicago. He's free right now. As a matter of fact, it is said that he is an associate of Abdullah Azzam, the mentor of Osama bin Laden. This is huge. And if I have home videos, if I show them to your viewers, what they used to do, they used to bring terrorist recruiting from the Palestinian areas. They bring reports open in the school areas, in the public, giving names who they killed, where they ditched the bodies, what the plans are, collecting millions of dollars for recruitment of terrorism here. This was in 1980-81. I mean, this was going on for 20-some years. And now it's happening. Now you don't know what hit you. It's been going on for a long, long time. September 11th, the desire to destroy the Twin Towers was a long time ago.